So today I'm going to be making a shelf, which is going to be using these floating shelf brackets, which are quite cool. The difference, there's a couple of different types. What's great on these ones is there's adjustability after you've done it if you've got a wall that isn't quite straight. And when you're working with old houses, these ones can be fantastic. You do need to rebate them in at the back, but I'll take you through that as well. So this shelf is actually for my daughter, for her room. So I thought I'd do something nice. I'm going to do something a little bit different with a live edge here. We've got this here. I'm going to grind out all of the rock and I'm going to actually laminate these two together and give us a kind of live edge between the two. So here we go. So just using Type Bond 1 and this one. So this build is really simple and I thought I'd put this together and show you something you can do with very few tools. I am using a big planer, but that's because I'm using some very old twisted oak that I had lying around. If you get a couple of decent pieces of wood, you can easily with a file or an angle grinder rough up the edge to make the river, and it's a nice simple way into trying some resin. Very easy to block the ends of the resin rather than worrying about taping it and etc. So a really good quick way into using resin and wood, and the results work really well. You can see where we're going to get the kind of man-made river right down the middle there. Tip that back and fill that with resin tomorrow when this lot sets. So some metallic grey. This is for my daughter, and that's what she's picked. This is just one metallic grey pigment. So what you can use on this sort of thing to plug it is just some of this plug-in wax. And here, really easy to get a waterproof bond on wood. Good stuff. Link in description for this. It's really good stuff. Now I'm going to just pour level and then just sand it and plane it back. Okay, so there are three types of fittings. You've got one like a kind of raw plug, which you can go straight into brick or stone. And then as you tighten it here with your spanner, this will expand. If you're going into a wood or a joist or some kind of stud, then you can use one of these. You can just simply drill a hole, turn that in, fit this on, and then that gives you your floating shelf with a simple piece of stud. And then the one I'm opting for in this case gives you an adjustable leverage left and right. There's movement both ways, and you can increase the pressure on that screw, which will lift the shelf up. So if your wall is leaning back slightly, this is a good one because you can angle it afterwards. So I'm just going to mark the middle all the way down. Just going to set the depth, which is about 15 mil. Just going to go a tiny bit deeper on this occasion. So it's just over 15 mil for this particular one. Do 16 mil. Do it in a couple of passes. We won't go right to the end on the channel. These need to be at 90. The other great thing about these is they're adjustable left and right, which is good if you're slightly off or you're drilling. But we're going to do 90 centers on here. So I've rebaited this whole section. Obviously you could just rebait this. I am considering installing some LED lights in here if I can find some rechargeable ones in here, and this you can see just fits flush now. Now I've drilled that 0.5. It's not wobbly, but it's sort of 0.5 of a mil, so it's a 12 mil hole needed, and I've gone 12.5 because what you're going to find, the length of that, any movement on the wall, this is going to be a really tight fit anyway to bash in rather than bending it. And also one piece of tape will give you adjustment if you're fitting on an old wall. If it's a nice straight level wall, then you've got no problem. Just transferred these marks over to here. I'm going to go and fix the shelf up, put a mark on the wall, and then drill these in straight into wood in my case. So it's going on this wall, which is definitely not level, which is why I've used the adjustable fixings. So let's try it. Really solid, which is good on the wall. Really solid on the wood wall. There you go. Really pleased with that. Let's get it over to the shop for the final sand and polish. Excellent. Hopefully she'll be really pleased with that. So you shouldn't really need to sand after routing, especially with a nice new bit like that. But I do find on the end grain, the way the router cuts, if you want the same feel as the straight grain, you do need to just rub it. I'm using a better, what's this, 180, probably more like 200 because it's an old bit. Okay, so this little sensor, which has 4 batteries in it, AAA's, has arrived with this little strip light. Now, I'm not sure of the quality of this, but it's just going to go in this groove anyway, just for a bit of fun. It's very easy to remove if it goes wrong. Let's see how it looks. So it has a little movement sensor, also a day and night setting, and then this is brightness, 3 positions for brightness. And the idea is it's just going to glow behind the shelf.